Hi, this is Brian Salyer, recording the technology leadership interview for my information sciences class. And here with me is,
Sean Salyer.
do I have your consent to use this audio for my class and any future purposes that they may have with it?
Yes,
Okay. So, first off, can you state your job title and kind of what you do?
I am the operations manager for Bass Pro Shops Distribution and Fulfillment Center in Macon, Georgia. So I am responsible for all aspects of all customer orders and both on the inbound receipt and outbound shipment side uh, in all manners.
And how many years have you been in that position?
I've been in this position for 1 year.
About how many, or exactly how many people directly report to you?
About 150.
Okay. And so to start off, what are some of the daily activities you would define as leadership or managerial activities you are specifically partaking in?
uh, Monitoring the efficiency of the processes in the building, monitoring the accuracy of the inbound receipts and purchase orders, the accuracy of our inventory in location, making sure that all of our outbound orders get shipped correctly to the customers, and making sure that all of our stores get replenishment orders based on what they sell.
And what are some of the biggest challenges you face in that position?
Uh, we have inaccurate inventory. We have inefficiencies in outfitter or associate picks and outfitter associate packs. We have problems with the supply line. We have problems with our systems technology. So I'm responsible for solving any of those problems and making sure that everything gets taken care of accurately.
How about specifically in the leadership slash management side, the people side of it? What are some of the bigger challenges you face there?
Ensuring that our associates are trained accurately, that follow the processes, and adhere to all the policies in at Bass Pro Shop, and then get developed to be able to elevate to additional levels in their career.
So, in doing that, what do you find are the most significant rewards for you personally as a leader and manager in that position?
What for me, it's when an outfitter or an associate is struggling with their job performance or with some aspect of the job, and I'm able to help them overcome those barriers and reach higher levels within the company and promote within the company.
So, influencing your success in that position, what are some of the factors that go into that? Whether it be, technology resources you might have or outside people you can reach out to. What goes into the success of your organization?
Understand first, it's understanding what any of the issues are at the root cause level. So sometimes a problem occurs that you may assume is one thing, but is actually something totally different. So you have to understand what the true root cause issue is, and then oftentimes you can, take care of that root cause, at your own level. But sometimes you have to be able to partner with somebody that has more knowledge than yourself, and being able to find that person, pull them into the problem, explain the problem, and then work with them to overcome the problem.
So when you're working with these specific people to overcome those problems, or just your employees in general, how important do you feel it is to keep in mind work-life balance, maybe personal issues and needs that that employee is going through?
Yeah, so in today's world, work-life balance with our employees is the most important thing. Today's employee they feel like they want to work their own schedule. They want to do what's inconvenient to them, and not always what's convenient to the company and the operation. So you have to find a partnership of, how do you blend those two together accurately and make it work for the outfitter and make it work for the company. Otherwise, you'll lose your associate or your employee in today's market. They'll go somewhere else. So work life balance is one of the keys to that.
So, and kind of playing into that, what are some of the main stressors that you find in the workplace personally?
In today's market, again, it's dealing with the attitude and the expectations of the employee. In past years, the employee did whatever the business needed. They appreciated that and followed through with it. Today's employee wants a say in everything that happens within the company and within their job. So you've got to be able to bring them in and give them that accountability, and help with them feeling like they have a say in what they do on a daily basis, so that they can be successful and stay. Otherwise, they'll leave the company quickly and go find something else.
And so you've kind of touched on it a little bit, but how would you describe your leadership slash managerial style? For example, is it more employee oriented, task oriented, or do you try and strike a balance between the two?
It has to be a balance. My leadership style has always been that of a servant leader, but with that, understanding that you have to uh, be able to keep the company's objectives in mind, and ultimately, it's the company that is paying the bill and has to be successful to continue employing the employee. So it's not always about that team member or that employee, but you have to be able to show them how they're important in that aspect and what they mean to the company, and then have their buy-in along the way.
So when you are managing and leading your team or your organization, what sort of a role does just raw information play into that? Whether it be maybe surveys or employee data, things like that. How does that influence your decisions?
We don't use much in the way of employee surveys, but data-driven analysis is key to most of what we do. As far as if you're talking about performance, or you're talking about a process change within the operation, you have to go back and look at past performance and past data, and then you have to put the change in place, and then look at the current data to see if you got what your expectation was out of that change. And if not, then you need to make either revert back to the original or make modifications so that you continue to improve, because any process change needs to eliminate steps or tasks and improve efficiency and speed to the customer.
So, talking about improving efficiency and all that, what do you find is the role of technology in managing and leading your team and organization? Is it becoming increasingly more prevalent about the use of AI, stuff like that? How is that getting implemented into leadership?
Yeah, it's definitely becoming more prevalent and more important. The things that AI can do now used to take an industrial engineer weeks to do, and AI can do it in hours or even minutes at this point. If you have a process change or an analysis that you want to look at different flow in it within your distribution center, in the past, a couple of industrial engineers may spend hours doing time studies and doing fishbone diagrams. Nowadays, you can just put that problem in AI and it'll spit out a couple of different solutions for you to try, right within minutes, and then you just need to go implement it. So the AI and technology is definitely making a difference in the performance. Technology bots now can move product from one place to another in the building, and used to take humans to do that. So We can even, have visual led vehicles that will load product into a trailer, which used to always require a human. So all of those things are changing with technology now.
And how do you go about finding people to specifically implement these AI functionality? Is that a specific type of person you're looking for, or is that sort of a role that's been delegated to past employees?
From the company perspective, in our career field now, that's something that all companies are looking for. They want to have somebody hired, either at the corporate office or in a local facility that understands the future of AI and can partner with all of the third party companies that are out there that are involved with making those more efficient and developing products that work with AI. So, as we go forward, there is a point of contact with each of those within each of our companies that handles that main function of how can AI make us better and how can we use AI to save money in the future.
So, to take a sort of a sidestep here and talk more about just the organization as a whole, would you describe Bass Pro Shops as sort of a medium sized company, a large scale company? How would you say it fits?
Bass Pro Shop is probably a medium scale company if you think about our volume. We do go into Canada. We're across every state in the U.S. And we deal with hundreds of thousands, millions of orders a day. We do have hundreds of Bass Pro Shop and Cabela stores, but in comparison to an Amazon or a Walmart, we're quite a bit smaller. We're not as worldwide as they are. So, I would rate us as a medium sized company, but it is also a private company, not a publicly traded company.
And so when you say it's a medium sized company, do you find that there is a better relationship between sort of the boots on the ground distribution centers and maybe a corporate office, the overhead policymakers, or is that still very disconnected and there's not much of a relationship there between the two?
No, it's I would say that it's pretty disconnected. From most companies' corporate office, C-suite executive offices, all the way down to the outfitter in the buildings that are actually doing the work. There is quite a bit of a disconnect and an unknown as to what really happens to make their companies successful. So that's definitely a problem. It's been a problem in our environment for years and years, and the more AI and technology comes in, I think will continue to make that more of a problem there.
And so I could already guess your opinion on this, but just to say it outright, how do you find the role of sort of organization wide policies and those sort of external factors influencing your leadership on the ground? Is it sort of a hindrance on you in the company placing in policies that don't really make sense, or do you find that they're rather well backed in research and applicable in daily life?
Yeah, it's more of a hindrance. I think that rarely are we considered, or is our opinion in daily activities considered. It's they go through most policies and procedures that roll down from the corporate office was a proof of concept or something that looked good on paper, but then didn't doesn't implement accurately when you start involving the hundreds of people that it has to deal with on a daily basis. So, my job becomes complicated there when I have to enforce that and figure out a way to get buy-in from outfitters when the policy or procedure doesn't make sense in their world. So, it's definitely a hindrance there.
Okay. And so to go in a different direction, um, talking about just leadership in general, do you think that people can learn to be leaders, or are some people born or sort of bred to be leaders, and that's just a skill set that you can't really learn?
Yeah, there's in a rare case, I think a person can learn and force himself to be a leader, but there are inborn characteristics of a leader that you can't teach and train, that they can't get from a book. It's about that human quality that that just makes other folks want to follow a leader that's on the floor or that's in a process or that's in a company that they'll follow somebody that has no authority on paper, but just has the innate ability to care for them and do the right thing and be calm in normal situations. So there's a lot of emotional intelligence that goes into leadership that I don't believe can be taught. You can teach somebody the functions of a process, the paperwork, how to follow instructions, but you can't teach them how to actually care for other people and want to lead them.
And so, as a leader in your organization, what is something that you are actively trying to change, or maybe that you would see yourself maybe wanting to change in the future? Could be as simple as just a piece of technology that you want to implement, or maybe a policy change that you would like to see happen. What is something that you want to change in your organization?
I guess the biggest thing that would make a difference is our schedule, our hiring practices for us right now. We're very rigid in our time and attendance and working with the outfitters that come to work every day, and so we have a very high turnover rate. Our turnover rate is about 180% on an annual basis. So I believe that the only way that can be fixed is a change in policy to adapt to the new worker and what they expect from their schedule. And right now, our company is not willing to do that.
And so, were one of your employees to come to you and say that they want to be a better leader, or they want to maybe pursue a management position, what sort of advice or tips or guidance would you give to them so that they can work on that? I know you said you believe that it's a rare person that could learn to be a leader, but how about just developing as one, or stepping into a management position, maybe more of administrative, but still in some sort of leadership? What tips would you give them?
The tip that I usually give folks is, to try to do the roles that you want to be in, right? So if you want to be, if you want to move from an outfitter into a team lead, or from a team lead into a supervisor, you need to be able to show that you have that ability. And so, what I have found in the past is I usually give them an opportunity to do that. I give them some tasks that they would need to accomplish on a daily basis, and then I, guide them through that to see if it's something that really does interest them and it's something that they can keep up. A lot of times, it's in that next step, it's about time management and how you keep tasks and follow up, with all of the things that you have to do. You have to, set your expectations. You have to follow up with those expectations and make sure that they get completed. And a lot of folks miss that follow-up point, or they're not good with time management. So I think those are the starting points for me when somebody comes forward and says, "Hey, I want to grow and I want to move into the next level." Then I give them some basic tasks that show what they need to do on a daily basis to see if they can do it.
Thank you very much.